Welcome back, everybody, to From the Bench. As always, I'm your host, Eric, and with me is my co-host, Trevor.
What's shaking?
There you go. We are back. I know it's been a little bit of a wait. We took the bye week along with the NFL, I guess is how we'll put it, right? So
The goddamn right we did.
Trevor and I were selected to the Pro Bowl, and for our great commentating all year, and all of our,
Quality picks,
analysis, everything else. So they said, know what? You guys deserve to go to the Pro Bowl. You guys deserve to have a week off. So that's where Trevor and I were. We're going to start off with a little bit of hockey, not a whole lot. Just kind of do a little quick rundown on stuff. And then we'll get into, the NFL talk. Apparently there's a big game Sunday, Super Bowl or something like that. So we should probably talk about that a little bit, I think, being a sports podcast and all. First part, we're going to get into just do a little rundown of the NHL and all the divisions and what everybody's record is. So right now, I guess we can start in the Canadian division. We'll start at the bottom. It is a team that I had a lot of hopes for coming into the season, Trevor.
You predicted to make the playoffs. They better get their shit together in a hurry, Oz, or you're fracked.
Yeah, by the way, I just thought with a lot of stuff going on, I thought they were going to look pretty good.
You thought they'd at least compete a little bit.
Yeah, just some games, and
I couldn't agree more with you. They should compete.
They've been snake bitten, but yeah, and I guess it's hard when you're bringing in that many guys, but so Ottawa is at the bottom of the Canadian division. Then it goes Calgary, who's kind of been underwhelming themselves, 9 points through 10 games. Vancouver has got 12 points through 14 games. They have the most games played in all the Canadian division, or North division, I guess. Then you have Edmonton. They get 12 points in 12 games. Winnipeg's got 15 and 11. Toronto's got 17 and 11. And then Montreal has 18 and 12. I don't know. They just beat Montreal. I don't know if that's including that or not, but yeah. So what's your opinion on the way that the it's been going so far?
How it's shaken out?
Yeah.
It's been interesting. Like you mentioned, like Ottawa went from beating the Maple Leafs to just absolute garbage.
Terrible.
The last two games, there's hope if you're an Ottawa fan. Last two games against Montreal, who's, like Eric just pointed out, is leading the division after that win today, 2-1. They're actually competing again, so they're on the right track, which is kind of shitty if you're a Toronto fan, because that means they'll bring their A game against you. And after two games here, I'm pretty sure we see them or see Montreal. Yeah. I can't remember. But anyways, we'll do a little rundown. I think Calgary, like you said, I'm just going to touch on Calgary. They need to be better. There's some of their key players are playing really well. Their depth has not shown up. They're just not playing good. Markstrom's been hit or miss too. Like, he's been really good or not so good. Mm-hmm. But I think that goes along with the team. I think if anybody's really disappointing in this division, it's Vancouver. Oh. Like, they're just garbage. Like, I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but it's so true. Like, yeah, they don't sign guys back and they let guys go like Markstrom and they bring in Smith and stuff, but it's just not working out for them early. They can't get a save. And when they do get a save, they can't score.
Yeah.
So they kind of remind me of, ironically, a little bit of Toronto the last couple of years, just losing guys in Edmonton currently right now, just losing guys in their defensive zone, and guys are wide open and they're puck watching, and it's just not good, and everything ends up in the back of their net. So I don't really want to blame it, Eric, on goaltending. I think Demko's looked really good at times. I think Holtby's looked pretty good at times. But, like anybody knows, if you're a goalie, like, you need the help from your defensemen and your forwards. It's a team sport for a reason. They've hung out to dry a lot. So I'm just going to say, I know they've been inflated. A lot of things end up in the back of their net. But I really don't think goaltending has been their fucking issue. So,
no.
Anyways, thoughts so far?
No, I agree. I think Vancouver's kind of been underwhelming. Like, yes, the big line of Horvat, and Besser, and that's been good. And Pettersson's starting to kind of come around now. He started off slow. It's hard, right?
Him and Miller did.
Yeah, some of it's a little bit, is it a little overinflated still because, they're playing Ottawa a bit. And everyone seems to be putting
There's
up
3-game win streaks against Ottawa. Okay, like here's your sign not to get too excited. So,
yeah, and
just saying.
And when Ottawa really just never showed up for any of it, right? So,
and you can't let Toronto beat you 7-3 the other night like they did. Like you just can't.
No,
you can't allow it.
No.
So,
and that's coming from a Leafs fan, right? So,
obviously, you're not going to win playing like that.
Obviously, I'm disappointed in Ottawa. I thought that they would be better. I thought Matt Murray would be better. Obviously, like the last 2 games, he's played better than what he has.
Yeah, big time.
He couldn't get much worse. The problem is like their backup. He wasn't giving them anything either in net. So, Hoberg. So what do you do? What do you do with those 2 guys, right? If they're not clicking for you,
I've seen him that coming a mile away. Like I just, I like Holberger, but he's just, I don't know, man. I just don't even think I hate to say it, I don't even think he's an NHL goalie. Like it's just,
and it's hard, right? And that's the thing with the NHL. That's what makes guys like Carey Price and Henrik Lundqvist and all these guys that do it every year. It makes it so impressive because this is such a hard league that it's like, holy crap, like you're able to sustain success playing goaltender in the NHL for, a decade or more, right? It's so impressive because yes, you'll have guys that play good for a season or 2 seasons or, maybe even 5 seasons on and off and everything else, but to
be consistent.
It's crazy, right? How many people thought Steve Mason back in the day was going to be
no, for sure,
the greatest goalie of all time?
I still can't believe he's out of the league. Like that's mind-boggling. Like, but I like with Ottawa's backup goalie. Like, and I'm saying this. I hate to say this, but like I'd rather Hutchinson. Like I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like he played well, like or good enough for you guys in the playoffs, right? Like I think, personally, but I don't know.
Yep.
It's early on him. Maybe he finds a little bit. Maybe like this is his first really big case of the NHL. So, let's give him a break. Plus, he's looking at some of the best goal scorers in the league, and they're in his division this year. So that's brutal for him. For Ottawa, period.
Montreal's another one that I think Montreal's obviously been really surprising a lot of people, right? But they built their team.
They're built for the playoffs, Montreal.
Yeah, but they built
hands down.
They decided,
so much depth.
We're gonna be, they got a couple guys at Ben Sherratt and at Edmondson. They got all these guys that they're big, tough, rough and tumble defensemen.
Are you talking about their towers? You're looking up at all their defense?
Oh my God, they're huge.
Because that's what's going on there. They're bullies.
So you got all these big guys, and then obviously you got guys like Nick Suzuki, and you got Josh Anderson, who he comes in for that Max Domi trade. That looks like a steal of a trade right now. He's played really well, and then they said just go down through the list of all the guys that are over there, and they're all playing pretty well. So if they can keep it going, they got the depth, which is nice.
A different line every night, man.
Yeah, and then
honest to God,
Edmonton, you just have these 2 guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And so
who likes to score on the Maple Leafs over and over and over.
Yeah, so
Draisaitl, would you just give it a rest, man?
They got 24 and 22 points, in not that many games. So
they're not good, Eric. Though they're not good.
They're good. That's their only line. That's the thing, right?
That's their only players. Besides, I'll add Nuge and Yamamoto. I think is got a bright future ahead of him, or he looks like he does. But man, they need help.
Yeah,
they don't have enough depth, like we just talked about with Montreal. There's a team, but if you're an Edmonton fan, help is coming. There's a lot. I was just on Cap Friendly today because my curiosity got the better of me, and I wanted to see where they were with contracts. And the only bad contract they really have at the end of this year is they have James Neal for 2 more years. But, if he contributes on the power play and just doesn't make them, I don't know, just does enough out there, just doesn't look bad and can somewhat, launder around, it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah, well, you have those 2 guys at 24 and 22 points. So it's like, okay.
He's a nice depth piece.
You're leading the league. After that, the next closest guy for points on their team is Nuge, who you mentioned, who's got 10 points.
And 1 year left on his deal. He's a free agent at the end of the year.
Nurse and Tyson Barrie, they both got 9 points. But that's such a big gap between your top guys and who you got after that, right? Like Yamamoto's got 8 points.
And they're not dangerous when one of those 2 lines are not on.
No, and it's I don't know, and obviously a lot of it's power play points. I don't know. Like I said, I don't see them as a constant thing here. to be kind of afraid of. But we'll move on. Next division, it is the West Division. So you got Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, San Jose, St. Louis, and Vegas. Right
it's a weak division. It's a weak division.
Yeah, but there's some good ones at the top. So you got Vegas. Obviously, they had their issues, so they only got a couple games played. They only get 8 games played, but they got 13 points, so they look like they're a force to be reckoned with out there. Colorado right now, they're shut down until the 11th. They got the whole COVID thing. It's kind of a good thing because Nathan McKinnon's week to week with a lower body injury.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, which is always kind of scary when your best player is gone all of a sudden.
Yeah. They're still finding ways to win, or
they had the one game after that they found a way to win, so which is nice.
I think they won by a goal, but still, a win's a win. That's all that matters.
It doesn't matter what you win by, right? So, and they've had some injury issues already this year, which is just
join the club, homie.
It's
not good.
It is what it is. St. Louis is obviously up there. They got 15 points. Minnesota's kind of probably been the surprise so far.
I couldn't agree more with you. Yep.
They get 12 points. They got the rookie, the 23-year-old rookie there in Kaprizov. He's got a decent amount of points there, so he's kind of giving them that spark over there in Minnesota. So
and they're getting good goaltending.
Yeah, and so after that you have Anaheim, which they're wishy-washy. Arizona, San Jose, LA, like it's all there's nobody there that's really I'm
still surprised San Jose. I thought they'd be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not the case. They're not separating themselves from LA and Anaheim, and it's I don't know. It's still early here. We'll keep an eye on that, but
yeah.
It's not good, Eric. They got bad contracts.
I think I could see Arizona switching with Minnesota by the end of the year.
I like Arizona.
So I could see that. I don't think I think the top 3 are making it, right? Colorado, St. Louis, Vegas. I think you lock
unless some disaster happens. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah, like I don't see a scenario where either any of those 3 teams don't make the playoffs.
And I really like the Oats to get that last spot, like Eric just mentioned.
Yeah.
I just have them there. I've had them there, I think, when we did our predictions. So
yeah, no,
I just think they've got a lot of talent. This is, I don't know, the 3rd or 4th year of their head coach, and he just knows what he has, and they're playing well.
And that's what
we're playing decent, not well yet, but decent.
Yeah, that's what you get into with a lot of this, right? So, I said Colorado started getting that depth scoring going right before they got shut down the last couple of games. So you had Kadri, pot a couple of goals finally.
It was coming, buddy. You knew it was coming.
JT Confer scored one. Kale McCarr is so good there. Like St. Louis, like I said, they've been good. Binnington's kind of playing well. If they put in Huso or whatever the backup is, he's terrible. So they're kind of just gonna have to run with Binnington, I think, for 3/4 of the season.
He's seeing his first NHL action. His first game was a disaster. His second game they won, but it wasn't great either.
And then obviously Vegas is just, they got so many pieces over there for Vegas that they're another one that'd be hard to kind of beat. Moving on to the Central, so that is Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, Tampa Bay. Tampa's leading that division. I don't think anybody's surprised at that. They have 15 points in 9 games. Florida, they got 14 points in 8 games. So,
Coach Quinn just getting it done.
He's just, getting the boys, sparking the boys over there. Columbus has 13 points in 12 games. Carolina's got 12 points in 8 games. So they're, one of the better teams in that division. Detroit is terrible. Detroit has 6 points in 12 games. They have 2 wins on the season. Nashville, they've been kind of a little snake bitten. Pecorine has not looked good. And you got guys like, obviously everyone knows I'm a Matt Duchene fan. He
scored the other night.
Yeah, so I talked to one of my buddies and I said, hey, like, what's going on with Duchene, blah, blah. Because I seen somebody posted on like Hockey Prospects on Facebook. They said, like, oh, the Matt Duchene curse is alive and well in Nashville. And he's like, actually, Duchene's played really well. He's just, hit a couple posts and he's broken a stick or two and, got robbed a couple times. Like, he's like, it's not really Matt Duchene. And this is, so I kind of just talked to my buddy really, really quick and just kind of said, like, what's your opinion on it? He's like, no, I think they're good. He's like, I think Pekarine's, not doing well. And then you have obviously other guys that are,
he's the backup now, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So, but they need to score more. They do.
And that's why they took. I don't think they think Saros is the goaltender of the future over there in Nashville, right? But that's why they drafted the Russian kid, right, this year in the NHL draft in the first round. That they kind of saw, look, we're gonna have to get a goaltender of the future here. And so they went and spent the first round pick on him. Dallas is 11 points in 8 games, so same thing there. They obviously started the year on the COVID list, so they missed quite a few games to start. And Chicago's at 12. Columbus obviously they were missing a couple guys. They made the big trade. They've kind of come back alive. I think, to me, Tampa Bay, I think they make the playoffs in that division. I think Columbus makes that division. I think Dallas makes that division. And then you're picking between Columbus, Carolina and Florida.
Carolina's getting in, boy. Yeah. Come on now.
So you're kicking Florida out, or you're kicking Columbus out?
No, I think if Columbus doesn't put a stretch of games together, that they're not going to make it. And it's just the fact that Florida has started so hot out of the gate.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I've got Florida in right now, like you said. I believe Tampa's going to win. Tampa's going to win the division. I've got Carolina, Dallas, and the Panthers right now.
There you go.
I think, like you said, I think Columbus could do it, but I haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, well, it's hard, right? You're trading a big guy.
And I think Patrick Laine is going to save their bacon. They're mistakenly. Like, I know all I hear is, oh, he's going to help the power play. Well, I sure hope so, because I think everybody knows they're going to be keying on him. So other guys are going to have to finish. You know.
I was watching the game the other night, and literally it was just whoever, I can't remember who it was, and they were literally just like chasing Laine around on the power play. Like, Buddy didn't care about anything else. Essentially, it was a 3-on-4, a 4-on-3, and then the fourth guy was just like glued to Laine. Like, you're not getting a shot off, which is not a bad idea, right? Like, if you're gonna play
exactly like we just said, make somebody else finish.
Yeah, exactly. So. Finishing off the division talk, we got the East Division. So that one is you're talking Boston,
the best division.
Yeah, you're talking Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, toughest. Islanders, Rangers, Philly, Pittsburgh, and then Washington. Jesus, that's a lot of good teams.
There's two teams, man, that stick out. One I thought was going to be absolute, well, not garbage, but I thought they would miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
Wow. First of all, they couldn't score, but they still managed to win those games. And now they got Pasta back, and he's doing what he does, and that's just light the lamp up.
Yeah.
I think he's already I think he's already got 2 games with multi-goals in them, which is unreal. But I'm just surprised there because they let a bunch of guys go, and they bring in Craig Smith from you were just talking about the Predators.
Yeah.
And he's a Boston player. Like, he's a little sandpaper to him. He can finish goal. He can score a little bit. And that's exactly what he's doing for them. But, like, that's all basically brought in. And their defenses look pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Like Boston, stingy and in your face. And I'm just surprised. I just want to give him a shout out. Like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And in 4 games, Pasta has 8 points.
Like, that's, man. Like, but I will say, Bergeron and Marchand, they did really well. Well, actually, we'll give a shout out to Richie too, because Nick Ritchie he's been unreal on their power play. Like, he's played really good this year. This is his best year, hands down. And 8 games you said, or 10 games they've played? So
they have.
I'll give them a shout out.
Yeah.
There's another team in the division I want to talk about. Oh, Washington. So Washington loses 4 really good Russians.
Yeah.
Ovi, and
because of all the COVID stuff.
Exactly. What do they do? And they're starting goaltending, the young fellow who they wanted to give the reins to.
Yeah.
There you go, Samsonov. So what do? They got, they just continue on winning. They don't skip a beat without these guys, which is unreal. their backup goalie, who really never even played in the NHL until this year, he has like an unbelievable record. He's like, I don't know if he's got like 4 or 5 wins, and I think he's got like 1 regulation loss. So they might have found something here, Eric, because Samsonov was struggling before he went out. I don't want to say struggling. He wasn't playing great.
Yeah, Vanasek, I guess his name is. So he's got 9 games that he started. He's got won 5 of them.
There you go. That's unreal.
Yeah, he's
his numbers look like a starter.
Yeah, he's played better than I think they ever could have imagined, right? His 2.95 goals against average. And then I think his save percentage, if it would ever let me pull it up, is a 911. So not lighting the world on fire, but definitely,
I'll take it. Solid goaltending.
Yeah, exactly. Playing what you want.
That is a dark horse team for me right now that could win her all. That's Washington. As they are without any additions. Like, let's say trade deadline goes by and they don't do nothing. I like where they're at. New coach. I don't know. There's just the way they're playing. I like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
So
you got in that division still. So you got Boston at the top. They got 18 points in 11 games. Philly's got 16 points in 12 games. Washington's got 15 points in 11 games, and then Pittsburgh's got 11 points in 10 games. It's that last playoff spot. It's kind of anybody could get it at this point. Obviously, we're still early, right? We're like a sixth of the way through the whole season. New Jersey, they're on COVID shutdown too. So is Minnesota right now. Colorado's shut down too, and then Buffalo is the last one. The Islanders have kind of not been good, which I don't think anybody saw.
They came out strong the first 3 or 4 games, and then they've kind of just
they
simmered out.
8 points in 9 games. Not what you want to see from a team that people are obviously high on. Obviously, a lot of people like the Barry Trotz system, just because of what it brings and the potential, right, and just the low chances and everything else. But I don't know. The Rangers have kind of been disappointing to me. Obviously, Panarin's done well. Panarin's
starting to play better, but totally
he's got points. Lafreniere, he's got 1 goal in 10 games. Like,
welcome to the NHL, Rook.
Yeah, but like other than Panarin, I don't think there's really anybody that's got he's got 15 points, and then past him, I'm literally just scrolling down through the list. The next closest Ranger for points is Buchnevich, who has 8. So you can't just have one guy scoring on your team, right? That's not a thing. Not
a recipe for winning.
No,
not in the NHL.
So I said it's different to see. I said I think it's pretty easy to say Boston, Philly, they'll get in, right? Washington probably, right? You never know. They could always go on a cold streak, and then it's who do you like, the Rangers or Pittsburgh is kind of the way I would look at it. I don't think Buffalo gets it. I don't think the Islanders can pull it together. But like I said, it's anybody's chance, right? So
I like the Islanders better right now than Pittsburgh, but that's just saying. Like, I don't know where Genny Malkin is, but he better show the fuck up because the NHL season started a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's been nowhere to be found. So
exactly.
He better wake up.
So I just want to get your quick thoughts, Trevor, on obviously we kind of did the rundown of the divisions, but I tried to stick away from our teams really quickly. What is your opinion on how the Leafs have looked through, was it 10 games, 12 games, 11 games?
Well, they look better now. I'm really waiting, like I was saying earlier, I'm waiting for Montreal here, and that's coming up. We got a game against Vancouver tonight, and then I believe Monday. And then Wednesday, I think we are in Montreal, and I'm looking forward to it. Use it as a measuring stick. I know I'm not looking past Vancouver, but they'll probably give us a big game tonight. So I'm going to call it a big game. For me, when you play these 3-game series, you'll probably agree with me, Eric. Like, you're trying to take 2 of 3, like that in your head, right? Yeah. And I know I already mentioned this podcast, but I was super pumped to go out to Alberta and out of 8 possible points, get 7. So I like where the Leafs are at. We've run into injuries, and it seems like whoever they put in the lineup score goals. So Travis Boyd, I think, has played 3 games for us, and he's got a goal and 4 assists, or a goal and 3 assists, and that's unreal. that's just an example. Like I know that we've got this young guy Brooks. He's come and played one game. He scored. So I'm just saying this, people. Like this is a big thing. You need depth, and Toronto definitely needs depth, like Edmonton, because they're paying a certain group of forwards so much money that you need other guys to score, and you're not going to win in this league without three lines that can provide somewhat of offense. So I'm excited. I like our defensive play lately. I love that our power play is actually ranked first. Screw you, Edmonton. Suck on it. What do you think of that, Edmonton? Anyways, our penalty kill could be a little bit better. I think we're in the middle of the pack. But I like where we're at. Freddie has made timely saves, Eric. But we still haven't seen, like Carey Price. They're both slow starters. We still haven't seen the best of both goalies, we'll say. I was actually quite shocked to see that Allen was in net and not Carey Price today. But anyways, let's move on. And so, all in all, I really like.
If you got to give Carey Price, if you got to give Carey Price a rest, though, giving him a rest against Ottawa is a pretty good one.
No, for sure. But I just thought that they lost to Ottawa. I thought you get Carey back in there. But they're sticking to their guns. They want to rest him. They think they're going to make the playoffs, and that they want to have a rest of Carey Price. And what the hell, man? Montreal is built for the playoffs, people. And I can't wait for Toronto to get healthy. But I like what I see. Our depth, our defensive play, we're winning tight games. It's like Eric just said. It's like a little bit ago. It's early, but I'm optimistic. And I know we're off to a good start, but good starts can go away in a hurry. Like you said, you can lose 2 or 3 in a row.
You didn't even mention Jason Spezza with the hat trick the other day.
Just unbelievable.
Well, Spezza.
Just turning back the clock. I love it when he's on the power play. Like I know this, I'm such a Toronto fan, but I love it when he's on the power play and he gets the puck and you just know he's gonna wind up and let a clapper go. Yeah. Like that is old school. That's like when we were growing up. You do not see that.
The old half clapper there.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like I love how we're doing. Montreal's doing it too. I found on the power play, that they got guys in front of the net. Like it's just simple things like that. Wayne Simmons, and who's got 3 goals this year, and he looks really good. Like he's skating, I want to say average speed, Eric, and I've never been so excited to see somebody skate average in my life. Like he looks the part. So he actually looks healthy,
and he gives you that little bit of sandpaper that I think you guys didn't really.
And he's willing to go in the corner and get the puck, and we need that. We need more guys like that.
Yeah.
And so I really love it, and we even got to see Anderson in a little bit. By Anderson, I mean the rookie we got from New Jersey when we traded away. Trying to think of his name, doesn't even matter. But he's looked good too. He's got speed. I think he's got some skill. So I'm excited to see him get more of an opportunity probably next year, barring more injuries. But I like what I see. And so do you want to talk about Colorado?
Yeah. So so I just said we'd just give a little bit of a thing for the Leafs. So with Colorado, obviously, it's the big guys that everyone talks about. It's McKinnon. He wasn't putting up the goals, but he was putting up the assists because he's kind of feeding Rantanen for everything. But he's got
as long as they're getting points, right?
Yeah, he got 14 points in 10 games. So like I said, that's pretty good for anybody. Makar, he's been doing good. He had 12 points in 11 games. The big one, obviously, that I was happy to see kind of came back around this year was Rantanen. He just eats the pucks in the corner, but he's putting up the goals, right? He put up 7 goals in 11 games. So he's just scoring kind of at will. He's got that. He does that whole right side face-off circle one-timer, maybe better than anybody else in the NHL on that off wing, right? Like on that other wing. So
better than Ovi.
Well, Ovi's on the left face-off circle, right? So I'm talking the right face-off circle. So
okay,
but he just like collects it and does it. Guy that not as many people talk about is Sam Girard. He's another young defenseman.
I tried to get him in that fantasy league, and you drafted him on me. I was so mad.
Yeah, by the way, because I'm like
that was going to be a sneaky pick.
Because I'm like he's 22 years old and he just puts up he's got 9 points in 11 games, and I just
love how he skates. He's just the gazelle out there.
He's just for being a little guy, like he's just so smooth with all of it. It's just there's just so much to it. I love it. But anyways, it is what it is.
I forgot. There's something we're not going to get into in this podcast, but in a future one, I want to with you because you were talking about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, would you rebuild or would you not? We'll save that for another episode.
They're not going to. They're locked in long term.
Another episode. Yeah. Damn it.
Anyways,
continue on your Colorado talk.
Other than that, like I said, it's always nice to see Eric Johnson in the lineup. Ryan Graves finally started coming around the last couple of games. He started off slow. Devin Taves, he's been injured a couple times. He's a big signing for them in the offseason. But Bowen Byron's played really well. As a rookie to come in and he's
looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Where are they playing him, Eric? Who's he playing with?
He's played power play minutes. He's playing with
nice.
I think he's playing with Gerard a little bit. He's just smooth back there. Like he's just
another gazelle.
Even on like the blue line, like he's not quite as good as Cale Makar, but Cale Makar is also older. Don't get me wrong, right?
He's older and he's got a year and a half in the NHL, so that helps.
So, but like when you just look at the whole way, like the Cale Makar highlights, the way that kid just skates sideways and just fluidly, like and walks the blue line and stuff, and it's impressive. But
it's huge.
Yeah, like I said, it's just that for us the big thing was the secondary scoring. It started coming along. Brendan Saad, started putting up a couple of goals, a couple of points. Kadri started putting up a couple of points. It was just I think the last time we talked, like all it was if it wasn't the first
top line.
Yeah, there was nothing past the top
depth.
So they started in the last couple of games. They started pulling together. I think probably the last 3 games because there's the game before McKinnon got hurt, then there was the game that McKinnon did get hurt, and then they had one game they played without him. And like I said, they've done pretty good with all of them. So
have you guys played Vegas yet or no?
No, I don't think so. I'd have to double check.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's like I said, obviously,
make sure you write some notes on that when they do play them.
Yeah. Like I said, that's a heavyweight tilt, I think. To if you ask me,
that's exactly why I said that to you.
But yeah, so we'll go.
No, I agree with you.
But that's like I said, that was it. Like I said, the Colorado's looked good. Like it's kind of nice that both of our teams, Trevor, they're both pretty good. So it's
early. They're both good early. Let's just put that out there. Let's not jinx ourselves.
It's nice for us to kind of have that conversation, right? So, but yeah, so we'll move on from there. First one, I didn't grab a picture for this. Kind of just came out before, and Trevor and I talked about it. Actually, I'll get to this one first. One trade that did happen is Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford. So obviously the Rams weren't happy with the way that Goff's been playing.
Well, let's just I'm going to say this right now. I'm pretty sure we weren't in. Were we in red? Were you over at my house or was I over at yours or no? Did we watch that game together? They played. Who'd they lose to in the playoffs? That was the Packers, right?
Packers, yeah. No, we've been in red for a while.
So we didn't get to watch it together, right?
No, I don't think so.
But I'm pretty sure we discussed it. So maybe we didn't. But you could see on the sideline where Sean McVay and Goff were getting into each other.
Yeah.
That there was some before that game, but that game stands out to me. Before that game, there was a regular season game where they got in an argument.
Yeah.
And I believe there was a game before. There's 3 games. It doesn't matter.
Well, then he had the thumb issue, right? So he gets his thumb hurt. They put in Wolford. Wolford's this undrafted guy, played in the XFL or the AFL or whatever it was.
XFL, you had it right.
So he comes out. They kind of liked him more. Then they're playing against Seattle in the playoffs. Jamal Adams hits him in the head, messes up this guy's neck.
Oh, yeah.
And so then Goff has to go back in. And they kind of said, well, can Goff play? Like, he's only a week away from the thumb surgery, whatever, blah, blah. And they kind of said, well, no, they could have started Goff if they wanted to. They're choosing to start Wolford, which is kind of odd, right? You have an undrafted free agent, that you'd rather see him play rather than the first overall pick from
who's basically got to start in a relief appearance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's kind of odd
over your star first round quarterback,
who you've given what, $35 million to, or
massive payday for.
Yeah, which didn't make,
or two, sorry.
So it is what it is. So they trade him. They say, look, we're done with you. Matthew Stafford, obviously not a young buck anymore. He's
32, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's older than that, isn't he?
32.
He's 32. So Matthew Stafford, he goes out. He's him and Detroit decided, look, it's time for us to part ways. Which, you know what? Probably a good thing for Detroit, right? Let's just do a rebuild.
Definitely a good thing for Stafford.
And we've talked about this. Like, more NFL teams should do this, right? If you have a guy like Matthew Stafford at 30
I want to agree with you, Eric, but can we agree on one thing?
Yeah.
Detroit is so fucking bad with their draft picks.
Oh, they're so terrible.
Like how, like Eric just mentioned it. I agree with you, Eric. More teams should do this, but the problem is if you get the capital, the draft picks, you got to hit on them. Yeah. You've got to get at least a blue collar guy who's going to go in there and play the majority of games and not draft a backup. Like a guy who gets in there and he's helping your team and it's not,
it's the thing with Detroit. It's not even that you guys, it's not even like Detroit is somebody that's, it's like, okay, you don't hit on your draft picks. Okay, well, like if you were trying to say that about, like, I don't like the Patriots, we all know this, but if you're trying to say the Patriots, well, the Patriots are drafting at between 27 and 32 every year. That is not a guarantee for a good player, right? You now has N'Keal Harry and has, Sonny Michel, have those been bad draft picks? Yes.
Plugs so far.
But at the same time, like, you're drafting that late in that first round, there's no guarantee that that player is going to be a good player, right? Sometimes people draft on upside. Sometimes people just draft on what the basement is for this guy. Like, what's the lowest
ceiling,
this guy
basement?
Can be?
I get what you're
exactly,
saying. Yep.
Right? So everyone drafts differently, and obviously you have to hit on those. But the problem with Detroit is Detroit has literally been between the bottom, the third overall to the 12th overall, like every year. And that's
cream of the crop.
Yeah, right. And obviously it doesn't help when you have bad coaches, right? Like you had, everyone knows I don't like him, but Matt Patricia, I think he's a dog shit coach. I didn't think he was a good defensive coordinator for you guys. You guys got lit up in his last game as a defensive coordinator for the Patriots. You guys got lit the fuck up. And then like, oh, well, I think we're going to give this guy let's give this guy, that's the guy I want to get. And this stooge over here, Matt Patricia, who destroyed that franchise over the last 3 years. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't know if he destroyed it, but could they bring any more New England guys in here?
Well,
free agency trade.
Let's go pay Trey Flowers up the ass. Let's go pay all these guys giant contracts that make no sense because nobody else is giving these. That's my problem with some of these NFL contracts. That was the
best thing is the defense never got better.
No.
If anything, I think it got worse.
It got worse. You know why? Because it got slower. And because that was what he wanted to do. And then you deal with
Jamie Collins. They got Jamie Collins there.
Yeah, and then you have Darius Slay. He kicks him out of Detroit. One of the top 10 corners in the league.
He wanted out, but yeah.
But that's because of Matt Patricia, right? So
did show him the door.
It's just there's so many things wrong with that organization, and they have to just and I don't know if Motor City Dan Campbell, which is talking about.
I don't know about him either. Like I think I said this on the last one, or maybe you told me we'd bring it up on this podcast, but I do not like a head coach that comes out and says what he says. That was the stupidest. Can we not agree on that? Or do you agree with me? Like as a player, okay, so that's just the
we're
way
gonna bite off some kneecaps. What?
Like I'm just coming in the door. I'm thinking to myself, they hired this idiot. Like we're trying to turn things around here.
It's like it's like
that's what I'm thinking personally.
It's
that's
like
just
the Adam Gase introductory interview, and he was just like spaced straight out of it, like eyes like all of a sudden went like wide-eyed and like just eyes roaming around. It's like, oh, so that's the guy that you guys want me to listen to, and that's the guy you guys brought in to coach our franchise, and he looks ridiculous.
Who, Eric, has never been an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, nothing.
So
that's very interesting. The only guy who's been one of the only guys that comes right to mind, but no, he was a coordinator. He was a special teams guy. Is Baltimore's head coach? Why am I thinking Harbaugh? Yeah. to me, when he first got hired, I was kind of iffy about. Man, was I like? I didn't say he was an idiot, or I didn't really know much about him. And man, he was a sick hire.
Yeah.
They're always in the upper echelon of the league, Baltimore. Yeah. So great job. But I don't know about Campbell. I hate what he said.
Yeah.
I just hate it. But in Detroit, I think me and you both agree. We love the Hall.
Yeah.
And if you really look at it, dig deep in it, really getting Goff, even if he's just a bridge or a guy to play,
that's all
his contract out the next 2 years, so you can find a quarterback.
Or if you just
he's a first-round pick too, and he's not the worst quarterback in the league.
No, right? He's not. Is he gonna win?
He's not a plug.
Is he gonna win you a Super Bowl? Probably not. Is he gonna elevate you enough to win a Super Bowl? No. But, and see, that's the problem with the Rams. The Rams have the defense. They have the
number one
cast,
defense,
right? They have all the supporting cast that they can win the Super Bowl, right? So if Jared Goff isn't going to get you there, yeah, for them, get rid of the guy, right? Matthew Stafford. Now, we've never seen Matthew Stafford win. Does that kind of go hand in hand with what he's been dealt with, dealt to deal with in Detroit? Because everyone knows Matthew Stafford is super talented. And has everything else going for him, right? So, but can Matthew Stafford, with his talent and the way he plays the game, can he win you a Super Bowl? Yeah, probably, right? So that's why you make that trade, especially if you see your window as being this little window of the next couple 3 years. Yeah, take Matthew Stafford. He's also cheaper than Goff, right there. So you're getting, it's making sense there. Now, are you losing draft picks? Yes, right. They gave up a first-round pick in 2022. First-round pick in 2023, and a third-round pick in this year's draft. So you are losing some guys, right? But at the same time, in 2022, if you're going to finish with a top 5 team, you're still drafting at the end of that first round, right? So it's not like, and now maybe they turn out to be what Houston, had the scenario with Houston and Miami this year.
I hope not.
where Miami, strikes the jackpot in that Tunsil trade, because now they get the 3rd overall pick in this year's draft, where Houston kind of expected that to be, them really taking off, right? So I don't know. I think it's a good trade. I think I'd like to see Detroit do something. I think Detroit has a chance.
God, I agree with you on everything about Detroit. I just want to see them do something. I think we both fucking just mentioned, we want to see them hit on these picks.
Yeah.
We're not Detroit fans, but we cheer for teams that suck forever. Eric knows, I'm a huge Brown fan because they just suck. And I just, you know what I mean? I just can't imagine being a Browns fan for 2 decades and just not good.
Have I won a Super Bowl? No. As a Chargers fan, I have not won a Super Bowl. Okay. But at least I've seen some good play, right? I've had good players come through.
You had a lot of good years.
Right? I have Phillip Rivers, so you can say, he's a top, whatever quarterback, a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, we won't get into that again. But, I get to watch Phillip Rivers play for all these years. I got to watch LT. I got to watch Antonio Gates. I got to watch good players play, right? And really kind of, at least there were some good things going there, right? There were some playoff matches, blah, blah. If you think back, if you're like a Jags fan, or if you're a Browns fan, or if you're you just go through the list of what can you be excited for a lot of these teams, and it's like, oh, so there's just, if you go back the last 15 years, there's never been a good time. Browns right now is the best time they've ever had, right?
Exactly.
But it's
first winning season since, I don't know, since I think Tim Couch was their quarterback, or that's not good.
Maybe that was that 1 year, and they had
Brian Hoyer.
No, I wasn't thinking Brian Hoyer. I was thinking the year they had Braylon Edwards and who was it? They had a quarterback there. I'm trying to remember who it was. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Anderson.
Yeah, Derek Anderson. Thank you.
Yep.
I was picturing his face, and I just couldn't go.
Man, I remember the play action. Anderson would just throw, he had an arm.
Yeah.
Just a grenade, and there's Edwards. Just, boop,
yeah.
Thank you.
And so getting back to Detroit. So obviously with Detroit, they have a higher division. They have this guy named Aaron Rodgers in their division. I don't know if you ever heard of him. So that kind of makes things difficult.
The MVP of this season.
Yeah, by the way. But after that, you have Minnesota, which should Minnesota have been better this year? Yeah, probably, right? But what happened? Whatever. Chicago, who knows what they're gonna freaking do?
They need a goddamn quarterback.
Yeah.
Now here's a question for you: if you're Minnesota, do you call San Francisco and be like, how much do you guys like Kirk Cousins? Do you guys want to
see? I don't think San Francisco does that, because I don't think San Francisco thinks that it's enough of an upgrade over Jimmy G, right?
Well,
I think they
come out and said that he hopes that Jimmy G's still there, that they went to the Super Bowl with him, and then he thinks there's more there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So you have Jimmy G, and you have, but I think if you're ranking quarterbacks, I think Jimmy G and Kirk Cousins are very similar, right? So I don't think there's enough of an upgrade there, especially with the contract. If I see San Francisco making a move on a quarterback, I think it's going to be one of the bigger guys. I think it's going to be a Deshaun Watson,
like a Stafford or something.
Like something along those lines, right? Because I think they think, they're only 1 year out of the Super Bowl too, right? They went to the Super Bowl last year. I know everyone forgets about it.
They ran into fucking brutal injuries to really key personnel. So
everybody,
it happens.
Their entire defense was just destroyed all year, and then even their quarterbacks, right? They had, at the end of it, they were on their third string quarterback, and they signed Josh Rosen from the Bucs, off the practice squad to kind of, fill out to give him another quarterback in case.
And honestly, that's not a bad signing. Like he did a lot of that or some of that in college.
Yeah.
I want to say the play action under center
and maybe maybe that's an underrated move that they make, right? Like he's a cheap option, right? They sign him all they have to do is sign him for a cheap deal. Maybe it's a 2-year deal for $10 million or something like that, right? Something cheap. And maybe they got a good quarterback for the next couple of years that they can build with. So, but I don't know. Like I said, I'd like to see.
Let's try him back. Can I give an opinion about the Rams? You finish up.
Yeah. So since we kind of got off on 17 tangents here,
I still love it though.
Yeah. So for me, I think both teams win because it both fits what they want to accomplish. Right? Rams want to win the Super Bowl.
Now
this gives them the best chance of doing that. Detroit wants to start over. Right? So for Detroit, you get a young quarterback. Yes, you're paying him a shit ton of money, but chances are you're not going to be paying anybody else on that roster any big amounts of money.
Not many.
Because you don't have any. Everybody else is young, right? You're probably not going to bring Galladay back. So you have DeAndre Swift is your running back. He's not going to make anything because he's still a rookie. You have.
Do you think they let Galladay go then, Eric?
Oh yeah, I think he's gone.
God, that's kind of sad, man.
Yeah. So I think that's just what you do, right? Like I don't think you're going to spend a bunch of money on a receiver
if he walks too, don't you get a compliment pick or a composite pick?
Yeah. So that's like
that'd probably be
that's like the Baltimore model, right? They'll get a 3rd or 4th round pick in next year or whatever, right? So there's just so much stuff when it comes down to a lot of this. And for them, I think it's the right move, right? Start over. Why sit in your between the 5 and 9 win, 8 win window every year? The way you're building your team. No, you're bringing in a new coach, you're bringing in new GMs, you're bringing in new everything. Let's start it all over. Let's build the team that you guys want to build.
And Campbell got a 6-year deal, so he's got time to.
And that's it, right?
We say that
you have your whole window. Let's go build the team that you want to build, whether it's right or wrong, right? Like obviously Matt Patricia had an idea of what he wanted to build, but he's also
it never happened.
And it never happened. Well, to be honest, it did, but he just never
reaped the benefits of it.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So, anyways, Ben, like I said, so I think it's a good trade for both teams is the best way to put it. But yeah, it is what it is.
I hate to see a team mortgage a future like that, but you get Stafford and you plug him into the Rams, and clearly Sean McVay, like Eric touched on, thought that they already reached the ceiling with that quarterback, and now that they bring in Stafford, maybe there's 4 or 5 new wrinkles. More stuff that he can throw at the quarterback and just expand on the playbook. And I totally think that's probably the case. They obviously thought they were a player away from winning the Super Bowl, and they've got probably a window here of 3 or 4 years to really make a run at it. I like the Rams a lot better with him. They probably give the Packers a run. Like Eric touched on, the Rams had the number 1 defense, and they got torched by Aaron Rodgers. Now, a lot of that, I know, Aaron Rodgers is a really good quarterback, yes. But this happens in the NFL. If one offense is on the field for any amount of time compared to the other offense, lopsided, the defense just cannot hold up. Even if you're bringing fresh bodies in, you get tired. You're on the field the whole game. There's gonna be mistakes. When it's more balanced offensively on both sides, you're less likely to see that. So I'm just saying, I totally agree with Eric. I hate that they traded away these first round picks, but they're trying to go for something bigger like the Raptors did a couple years ago. They're looking for a championship now. So I love that aspect. Nothing says like to your team, like, here we go, boys. We got the missing piece. Let's make it happen. There's no more excuses. So I like that fact. When you're the Lions, I love it for the Lions, but God damn it, man. At least draft guys that are going to be in the NFL for 10 years. Like I said earlier, blue collar. Don't miss. Campbell, not a fan. You got something to prove to me. You're already on Trevor's radar to be fired because, like, I just didn't like how you presented yourself. You brought that all on your team. Like, oh, God. Like, anyways, how can you even go in your building and face your players? Anyways, okay, I'm just going to agree with Eric. I like it.
Last point I'll make on this is they'll save every year. Like this year, I think they'll save every year essentially from now on for the rest. If you compare contract to contract for Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, they'll be saving at least $5 million a year, right? So that helps.
That's the Rams here?
That's the Rams, yeah, because Stafford is around $20 million a year, and Goff's going to be was around $25 million. So you're getting $5 million every year in cap relief too. That's a huge thing too, right? Especially if you're dealing with some of these big contracts in a Jalen Ramsey, in an Aaron Donald, all these guys, right? Cooper Kupp, whoever they have to sign in the future, right? You have all these guys, all these big contracts. You have to try to find a $5 million player. That's a good $5 million player. That's a good.
You can bring a veteran in to plug a hole.
Yeah.
With the Rams, they got to continue to hit on these mid-round picks. Yeah. Now that they traded away it's not a big deal. You can plug and play. Some teams can find free agents out of college. New England's one of them. They just got to be smart with what they do and very careful. So, like we said, the pros and cons, there's more pros for the Rams to do this. They're ready to win now. So I like it. We like it for both teams. Detroit, just don't miss on your draft picks, man. Jesus Christ. Prove us wrong. Prove me and Eric haters wrong. Do it for God's sakes.
Let's do it.
I'm not going to lie, Eric. I cringed when DeAndre Swift got drafted there. I wanted to cry. I was so sad. I was like, really?
You're a big fan.
But anyways, whatever. What's up next, homie?
Go turn on a goddamn light.
Yeah, I was going to, but I didn't want to say anything to you.
Go, do it.
I didn't want to leave, so.
It's all good. So we'll just touch on a couple of the games that obviously got us here. The first one being the Bucks versus the Packers.
I smoked you on this one.
Yeah. So,
the only reason I picked the Bucks is because Eric was going with the Packers.
So I'll obviously like the Packers.
One of the reasons.
I thought that there was some, I don't know. And everyone's going to go back.
Who kicks a freaking field goal over? That's so stupid.
That was the stupidest.
If he does that shit next year, fired. That's all I got to say.
That is. You were playing, and I understand. Maybe he's thinking, look, Tom Brady's thrown 3 interceptions in the second half. Obviously, that is true, right? But it's still Tom Brady. They still have a good offensive line that it's probably going to try to run on your ass because they're going to try to kill the clock. Guess what?
They were successful.
Green Bay.
Yep.
Guess what you're not good at? You're not good at stopping the run. So it just didn't make any sense. You also have Aaron Rodgers, who's the MVP of the season. MVP.
One of the best receivers in the league.
One of the best
hands
receivers.
Down.
And yes. And did they miss out on chances? 100%, right? They had, they missed out on Devontae Adams. I think it was in the second quarter or the first quarter. They missed out on 3 straight passes to him, and they had to settle for a field goal, right? And one of them was right in his hands, and I understand. There was a lot of things going on there. That's
the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna cut you off. The dumbest thing I've ever seen, like Eric just said. What are you doing? Give Aaron Rodgers the ball.
Yeah.
First of all, and the second dumbest thing I've ever seen was when a cornerback lets a wide receiver on the last play of a half get behind him for a touchdown. You cannot do this. You're trying to go to the ship. What in the frack? I was so excited to see Pettinger get fired. It was ridiculous.
Oh, it's just that is literally
demoralizing.
That is the same play that everyone killed Greg Williams on what, like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago for the Jets?
100%. You just can, as a defender, you cannot let him. And Eric knows me well. Now, I love to be aggressive, but there's a time and place, and that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just,
one of them.
It didn't make sense at all. I also think that they probably, I know this happens a lot, okay? You see a white boy receiver out there, okay? I understand you're an athletic guy, you're an NFL corner, and you see this little white guy out there, and you're like, that guy ain't gonna run past me. And the little fucker just runs right by him. Like, I'm sure that has to do with it.
Makes a hell of a catch.
It's I remember the Pat McAfee show. They had Jordy Nelson on, and they're talking about with him and AJ Hawk, and they were talking about how he was at like in like training camps and stuff. The defensive coordinator kept on time to tell like all the DBs like, hey, you see 87 out there. I understand he's a white boy. He will run past your fucking ass if you don't like actually go with him. Like, he is fast. Like, don't just think that he's not going to run by you because he's a white boy and, you know, maybe he's a little bit slower. You know, that guy has wheels on him. And so it's just kind of funny the way it works. But yeah, you can't have the Scotty Miller play. You can't have the not going for it on fourth. And obviously people want to blame the refs because of that call. Now, was it a little bit of holding? 100%. Like, the guy had the jersey, right? Like, I'm not debating it. I don't think that held him back enough to warrant a pass interference call. If anything, it's a holding call, not a pass interference.
I get confused because there was clearly holding on some other plays and didn't call it. So they're letting them play, and then all of a sudden they call that one, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
The ball wasn't within 10 yards of the guy. Like, Tom Brady overthrew that guy. I don't care if that was Randy Moss out there without being held. Randy Moss isn't making that goddamn catch because that's
Randy Moss making the catch. Don't be ridiculous.
No, because that ball is 5 yards past him and 5 yards too high. Like, there is no way that anybody is catching that ball. It is an uncatchable ball, which they don't ever call anymore. And then you have they're calling, you know,
once in a while.
Yeah, but you're gonna go through all that. It's like, okay, but literally on the Aaron Rodgers interception, Murphy Bunting was holding on that play to get the interception. So like, you're gonna let them clutch and grab and hold, and there's push-offs that you know,
you're gonna let them compete. Just be consistent. That's all I say.
And all of a sudden in the last 2 minutes, you're gonna make it not. And like I said, if you're gonna call it anything, it's holding. It's not pass interference. He's holding that jersey the whole way. That is holding, not pass interference, which is a totally different penalty, by the way, which also gives you a different set of downs. Like, it just changes everything. And the other problem people had with
sticks, the whole 9 yards.
Everything. And the other problem with that whole scenario is that, I don't know. It's just, there's so much to it. And you're so close. Like, how do you make, and then the flag comes in. Like, the flag came in, 5 seconds later? Like,
it was a little late.
It was, you know, if you're going to make the call, throw the flag early. Not literally.
Throw it away. Yeah, right away. Yeah.
Not, okay, it's done. The guys are going like this, everything else. And then 5 seconds later, you throw the flag. If you saw the flag, if you think it's a penalty, it shouldn't take Tom Brady throwing his hands up. And that is, I understand. I'm not a big, you know,
you hate Tom Brady.
With Tom Brady. But that is
hate everybody from New England.
But that is a Tom Brady call. That is I'm going to give Tom Brady the benefit of the doubt. And I'm going to give Tom Brady, and like I said, should it ever come down to that point? No, it shouldn't, right? I don't think it should, because I still think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are a better team than what they played. Now, did that work out for them? No,
I think that offense has got more weapons than his offense.
I think so too. But I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady this year, and he
is at this point in his career.
Yeah, 100%.
Goddamn right, he is.
And I think the defense obviously stepped up for Tom. The running game stepped up for Tom. The Packers obviously lose Aaron Jones early on, which doesn't help, right? You know, you just a lot of things, but literally, if you don't hit that Hail Mary at the end of the half. If Aaron Rodgers and these are very, very basic things, right? He doesn't connect on that Hail Mary, so that's a 7 to 4 point swing easily. There's also the 4-point swing if Devontae Adams just catches the touchdown pass on the same route they've run 1,000 times. So there's another 4-point swing. If they just go for it instead of going for, the field goal at the end of there's just so much stuff there that I think that they are the better team. And it is what it is. But I don't know if there's any. I'm going to leave it at that. It's a sad way to see the Packers go, just with everything involved, right? Whether it's the bad coaching decisions on offensive and defensive end, on a bad ref call after the game's been officiated a certain way the entire game. It's just in that game, that's what it was, right? The whole
consistency is huge.
Yeah, even I think Mike Evans on one of his touchdown passes, he has a push off, right? Because they're letting them compete, right? So
they're hand fighting, yep.
Yeah, and so it goes both ways, but it is what it is. I'll let you finish off on it, and then we'll get on to the Bills and the Chiefs.
I hit my major point. I just can't believe you let a receiver get behind you on a Hail Mary at the end of a half. It kills all the momentum Green Bay's got going for them. It's deflating. The Bucs go in on a high note. Their offense looked pretty good. Not great in the first half, pretty good. And I personally looked a lot better than Green Bay's. And then it's exact opposite tale in the second half, where the Bucs, they did enough, I guess, to win. But what I'm saying is the Packers offense come out with fury, make a rally, but they were not able to win the game. So I hate that call. You got Aaron Rodgers, like we just said, most valuable player this year. It just doesn't make sense. That's right. When you're as a coach, when you make that call, you're showing you have no confidence in your offense, is what you're saying. That's what I believe. And it's just horrible. It's horseshit.
And Aaron Rodgers didn't know that it was Aaron Rodgers went in thinking that was going to be a 4-play series. That's the other problem with that, is he expected to have 4 plays to get there. He wasn't expecting to have them come out and kick a field goal, right? He thought he was going to have all 4 plays. So you have to be on the same page when it comes to that stuff too, right? So it's just, I don't know. It's just, you can't have those. And that's what it's at this point in time. That's the difference between winning and losing these games, right? Those little huge mental things. That's why the Patriots were so good for so long. It's because they've been there.
It's situation football, we just talked about. Don't let the receiver get behind you. It's mind blowing that we've seen that twice this year.
Yeah,
both guys ended up fired for the record. So exactly. There you go.
So getting on to the other game. So we're talking the Bills. We're talking the Chiefs. I think we both went with the Bills. Yeah, we were both wrong, by the way. That's another one, and I'll get your opinion on this.
That's a learning experience for the Bills.
Yeah, so
I think, personally.
So I found they weren't very aggressive. I found they weren't doing a lot of stuff that they had done all year long to really work. Obviously, the run game's been hurting, the last couple weeks without Moss and everything else. That's something they got to kind of figure out.
You know what made me mad about that game? Honestly.
So at
first, no, Buffalo, their defense. So what they do is they don't want to allow the big play. Okay, that's cool. But you can't consistently let them walk down the field like they did and not change it up. I'm sorry, but they lost. After the first half and you're seeing that they're having no problems not doing the big plays and they're walking down the field on you, you need to come up with it. You need to be aggressive. Yeah. You need to figure something out. Because you can't consistently, especially like Eric just mentioned, you've kicked field goals consecutively.
Yeah.
So you're losing that battle 7-3. You get what I'm saying? The point ratio is not working out in your favor. You need to be aggressive.
Yeah. And
if you get blown out, I'm sorry. We came out with this play we had this idea. It didn't work. We were playing a little passive. We were trying to keep them in front of us as a defense. In the second half, we got more aggressive. And they exposed us. They burnt us for a couple big plays. I get that, okay? At least you change things up and you're trying. But for you to come back out in the second half, continue doing the same shit that didn't work is bullshit. And it makes me so mad.
Especially when you get to Kansas City, when you have something like, the fumbled punt, right? So you get this guy that fumbles his punt. You're down in their territory, and you just you're just settling for everything. Like, you can't. Like, this is the Kansas City Chiefs. This is one of the most high explosive offenses in the league. You have to do everything you can to score as many points as you can and literally step on their throat if you have that opportunity. You can't let up. You know, San Francisco did that last year in the Super Bowl. They lost, right? There's so many things. They're such an explosive team that you can't let them stay within. You got to try to do whatever you can because you have to expect that it's going to be a track meet. That's just what it's going to be. It's going to be whoever can get to 28, 35 points, right? And that's how you win that game. If you're not planning on scoring 35 points, you're not going to win that game. That's just what it is. It's nothing against them. It is what it is. But you have to want to score 35 points against that team if you think you're going to win. Because if you score 20, they scored 24 points. 24 points is not enough against the Chiefs. And that's with the Chiefs kind of taking the foot off the gas, right? So, I don't know. It's just, you have
I think too, like I just said earlier, Buffalo, it's a learning experience. They got their first win in a long time. They got a young club. They're coming.
Yeah.
You know, their time is they're coming. You can see it. Josh Allen comes back here the next following year and hopefully doesn't have a setback. You know, like Eric says, add a little bit of a running game. Maybe you go draft another another piece. And you add to that defense, maybe a guy or two to help slow KC down.
Yeah.
Because remember, you know, all roads lead through KC right now, and you see where you're at. So I don't know.
And that's a lot of it, right? So
they had a good run. So
I just want to get your, and like obviously we're not taking anything away from KC, Patrick Mahomes.
For the record, and I will say this too, like people forget, but KC lost to New England before they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I just want to make sure. See, it's a natural, and football a lot of times it's a process. You know, you make the playoffs, you lose. The next year, we just seen the Ravens go through it. Yeah. The next year, the Ravens come back, they win the game.
Yeah.
They go up against Buffalo, they lose.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see where they're at next year too. But man, I'm going to totally change gears on you. But man, Ben Roethlisberger needs to retire. Like he is done.
I seen something earlier they were talking about on Deion Sanders and Jamie Dukes. They're talking about how Big Ben. I don't know. I didn't get the whole story on it, and maybe I'm missing stuff. But they were talking about Big Ben only practicing one time a week for his body. How are you planning on being a quarterback for an NFL team and only practicing one time a week?
I'm sorry, but Big Ben, you're not Tom Brady. You're not Aaron Rodgers. You're not Patrick Mahomes.
But Tom Brady would never do that. Tom Brady would never practice once.
For example, Eric just made a point. So, for example, look at the Bucs struggle. 1 week they look early in the year. 1 week they look fucking like nothing can go wrong. The next week they look like shit. They get blown out. This went on for what? 7 weeks?
10,
they'd
12?
Win one.
It was really till their bye week in like week 13.
One. So I'm just there's a key point. You gotta practice. Some of the best receivers in the league, Julio Jones. You know, yeah, he's good, but the years he's had the monster years, he made the majority of the practices that year.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna go out and say that.
No, and so like I said, a lot of this stuff when you deal with all this, it's just there's so much to it. Like I said, I hope this is another thing I want to bring up real quick. He's going to stick around. So Brian Daboll, he didn't get any coaching jobs in the NFL this year. Obviously, you know, probably should have, right?
Which is huge for the Chiefs.
Which is kind of no for the Bills.
Who'd you say? Sorry,
Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator for them. There's also Eric Bieniemy.
That's who I thought you said. I'm sorry.
No. So it's kind of funny. Both here's the two highest flying offenses in football, and they don't get coaching jobs. But you give it to Motor City Dan Campbell in Detroit, and then a 65-year-old passing coordinator for the Ravens.
That blew my mind.
A terrible passing game, and that is who you're going to give your head coaching job to in Houston. No wonder Deshaun Watson wants the fuck out of there. Like, let's be honest. But
I hope it doesn't happen, though. Yeah. And the only reason I say that is because I don't want it to become, and you know my personal feelings about this, like the NBA. Because that is bullshit. Yeah. You know, they invested in him. He signed that deal. They didn't have a gun to his head. And then a year later, he wants to spit in their face. I know bad shit's gone on there. Yeah. But
so
they fired the right people now. So now it's a new start. Come on.
The only thing I have to say about that, and like I said, I understand it is what it is, but the quarterback, and we're obviously going on a little tangent here. The quarterback is the biggest investment on these teams. And it's not even close. Like for Deshaun Watson.
And the hardest position to find.
Yeah, right? And you're talking, he makes twice as much, if not more, than anybody else on that team. Anybody, right? And that's going to be the case, right? Most of these quarterbacks are making, the good ones, like him, Mahomes, whatever, you're making $40 to $50 million a year, right? 35, 40.
Quarterback, left tackle.
Yeah.
Defensive end.
Yes.
Like edge rusher.
Give me 2 seconds.
Those are the guys getting big money. So those are the guys getting big money. So, and the fact of the matter is, people, when you look at it, like we just talked about Goff, and he gets all this money because he's the first overall pick. He's not a proven commodity. When Goff came into the league, he was horrible his first year. Now, that happens to a lot of quarterbacks. Like Peyton Manning comes to mind. He was kind of, it's hard. It's a hard position to learn.
Had to plug the computer in.
And it's a fast position. But I'm just saying.
No, that's your biggest thing, right? So you have these guys that have to pay. You're paying crazy amount of money for. You trade away who I'm assuming was probably one of his good friends, and DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason, without telling him, without giving him any insight. Right? You don't think you want to tell your starting quarterback that you're going to trade away his best receiver? Like, doesn't that sound like a good idea, right? You want to piss off
top 3 or top 5 in the league.
Exactly, top 5 receiver in the league, your best, receiving threat that he has to work with. Yeah, we're going to trade him away, but we're not going to tell you about it until after it's all done. Then you're going to tell him that, look, we're going to keep you in the loop when it comes to a general manager with everything else going on, and with stuff with Bill O'Brien and all this other stuff. I'm sure they butted heads. Now you're like, okay, well, we're going to involve you in this stuff. And then you hire a GM and don't tell him at all. Don't have him involved at all. And then he says like, hey, I've heard really good things. Patrick Mahomes is my buddy. He says really good things about Eric Bieniemy. Like maybe you guys should just give him a look, blah, blah. And then you don't even interview the guy. Like, true, what are you doing? Like,
all I'm saying is, like, I understand you're telling them and you're running things through them, but why even, like, part of me wants to say they shouldn't have to. You say, well, why? Because their job as a player is to show up on the field, bring it, la-di-da-di-da. They're not the people making the decisions in an organization.
No.
Now, should they be, like basketball, where we're seeing this as becoming a thing in basketball. So I hope to God he can't force his way out of there. Now, does he got reason to be angry? Yes. Yeah. Is he giving the new people chances? No. He wants out of there, and that's all he keeps saying over social media.
But that's more
horrible.
That's more of an owner thing, and the owner, I think, it's just constant lying from the owner. Which
did he screw up the owner? Yes, but he's got other guys in that room.
The problem is now he's screwed up. It's not a one time. And I said I'm with you. I don't like the whole, I can cry and get myself out of here and let's go build super teams. By the way, that's what Tom Brady does. Let's go get this guy for cheap. Let's go get that guy for cheap.
Everybody gravitates.
Everybody just come to me.
Gravitate.
Come sign a $1 million contract. I'll sign my $15 million contract, and we'll be better off for it. And we'll have all these.
Maybe he'll go to the Chargers next year, Eric.
No, don't want him.
Or after this other year's done.
No. But at the end of the day, it's all this stuff, right? And that's my only problem with, and I obviously don't understand we're going off on tangent here, but that's my only, I don't want to see that happen. And I don't think that if a team's doing bad that you should be able to trade them. Maybe you should, right? Like, say, get some draft capital back. I think maybe that would help some teams, right? If a Matt Ryan came out and said, like, look, just freaking trade me.
I'm surprised they didn't blow that off.
That's probably that'd be, him and Julio getting traded, probably the best thing for the Falcons, right?
Yes, let's talk about that on another podcast.
Yes, but for sure. But like I said, for the Deshaun Watson thing, I think it's just, I don't think it's so much him as much as that I think it's how stupid that owner is, and how just at some point Deshaun Watson just said, look, I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of you not following through with what you're saying you're going to do. So if you don't want to follow through on what you're going to do, and I'm supposed to take you by your word for stuff, then what's the point of me? Like, is this gonna change? No, right?
No, I agree with you, but he's gotta, I don't know, like you got all these new guys there. Sometimes you just gotta put stuff behind you. And
yeah, but that I said I'd agree with that if it was just all you have to do as that owner is just interview Eric Bieniemy. Just interview him. Like,
I think at that point, even if they did it though, it was still not going to be enough.
No, because
that's all I'm gonna say.
Everything you just lied to him constantly. Like, that's the problem, right? To lie to him, and just to say, like, the thing is, you don't have to go with the guy he says, right? Even for hiring the GM, you don't have to hire the guy that he wants, but just sit down and have a conversation, or just say, like, just not have it that the guy's finding out on social media that that's who you're taking. Right?
That's
like,
Bill O'Brien. He's gone, but that's why he's gone.
That was his thing, and now the owner, it's kind of rubbed off on him, right? So
I think it didn't help the fact that they bring in another former New England Patriot to be the general manager, who I think is a really good hire. And I was kind of disappointed he went to where he went.
But well, they tried getting him last year, and
they've been after him for a while.
Well, Bill blocked it last year when like Bill Belichick did. But anyways, I said I think
these Bills right hand man.
Yeah, I think
it was.
Get back to the actual game since we went on this massive tangent with all this shit. I think it's the right thing. I think the right team won. You know, whatever you want to say. I'm kind of glad it's them because I think they can. We'll get into that in a minute. But the only other thing I want to talk about real quick is Brian Daboll kind of seemed like he was off a little bit from what the Bills have been able to put up with lately. Do you think? And I understand they can't do this, and I don't know how you do this, but all these head coaches and all these assistant coaches and stuff, all of them interviewing multiple times throughout the week of a week that they're supposed to be preparing for.
I hate it.
It's stupid, right? Is it not the stupidest?
I don't know why they can't wait until the Super Bowl is over and then do all the coach hiring and
it's put a freeze on the coaching hiring until after Super Bowl, because you're making the product worse because you're going to have someone like Brian Daboll. You can say, well, it's just a couple interviews. These aren't 20-minute interviews here. This isn't, you're not going down to Walmart to get an interview to see if you can get the cashier job here.
And it's not fair. Like let's be honest. So let's say Eric's, he's the Chargers. So the Chargers, didn't make the playoffs. So Eric goes out and hires me to be the defensive coordinator. Then what do? I take a look around the league, and of course I bring the odd guy I had before because I know and I can trust. But I look around the league, who's fired, who's available, and I fill my staff. Let's say they're all all-stars. They all won a Super Bowl or come close. They've been to the big game, and I just load my staff up, right? How is that fair to the other teams?
Yeah.
Because they're still playing.
Yeah.
It's just –
yeah, you're not going to –
maybe that's how the NFL likes it, right? Because Eric's team didn't make the playoffs. That gives them advantage to be more competitive the next year. I'm just saying.
And maybe it gives them more things to talk about, right? You don't have any downtime that way. Obviously you have, games being played, but there's not as many teams being played. You kind of keep everybody involved, all the teams, right? Even, my team, obviously we hired a new head coach, right? So maybe it keeps us involved a little more. I don't know but I think they should put a freeze on it. I think there should be no coaching hiring until I don't know if the new league year
until the day after the Super Bowl,
or even just a 2 weeks after the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not saying you. Well, no, yeah, okay.
Because you got to give guys like the actual hiring process, or maybe it's the new league year in March or whatever it is, right? But I think at some point you have to do something that it makes a little more.
But saying sense. That, like, let's say you're looking for a GM, you'd have to have him before.
Yeah, before the draft, right? And I understand that, like I said, and
free agency.
I think a GM's a different job. I think a GM you can hire beforehand, and I think even the coach, right? I think if a coach, if you have, maybe it's the end of February, right? Whatever it is, like I said, it's just I understand you want to get these guys in as quick as possible, but it is what it is. I just think there should be a way because I think you're losing out on the product, and I think overall it's hurting the product from what you're from what you could potentially have. From these guys, like I think Brian Daboll interviewed with, 5 or 6 different places. So he probably had 4 hours per interview. So you're talking 20 hours before the biggest game of the year for them that he wasn't there.
He wasn't dialed in.
You know, and now you're thinking about how that interview go. When your thought process should be like, how do I get my quarterback and my team prepared the most against this Kansas City team, right? So that's, to me, that's always just been a thing. But so getting away from that.
Predictions.
It's the Super Bowl.
What do you got?
It's Super Bowl 54 in Tampa Bay. The first time a team is home for the Super Bowl. I think it's Kansas City Chiefs, and I think they win by like 14 points.
Perfect. I got Tampa Bay boy Tommy. A year after not being in the game is back. Wearing different colors, but Tommy is gonna get it done for me. He's gonna win by. They're gonna win by a point. How was that for a prediction?
He better hope that run game and that defense steps up for him, because I don't think he's winning this one on his own. I don't know. I was so close. I was getting so ready to do memes of how it started with the 28-3 and him celebrating after that Super Bowl, and then losing to the Packers after being up 28-10, because it was just like he played terrible in that second half, and
the whole Bucs offense did. They were
like he was overthrowing, and yes, he made big throws in the first half, but
or
a lot
hit a
of them
guy
were,
in the fucking hands and he dropped the ball.
Well, that was also a super high ball. That guy's 6'5" and can jump like
catch the ball.
Guess what, Trevor? It was an overthrown ball. That's the problem.
Are you kidding me? Tommy doesn't overthrow the ball. Get your shit together.
Yeah, just like that pass interference wasn't overthrown by 20 yards.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, the typical Patriots fan.
He's trying not to get him killed, okay?
Yeah, so I think there's a reason why Tom Brady went there, right?
He's a beauty.
Because he saw, look, they have
hot weather.
They have a good defense, right? They have more offensive weapons than he ever had, ever.
Let's not get carried away here. He was in the best offense in 2007.
Well, okay.
Randy Moss, Wes Welker.
Okay, well, maybe that might be the only one that he ever had that was better. But even then, it's pretty dang close, because just when you add it all up, he's got a really good offensive line. And like, don't get me wrong, the team did a lot of things to do right. You know, one of the big things coming into the season was they wanted to add more, offensive line help just to keep him upright. What do they go? They go draft the right tackle, Tristan Wirfs
in the first round.
First round, he's played amazing for them. That really helps keep, because really Tom hasn't been pressured very much all year. Like that offensive line.
And Tommy doesn't run out of the pocket.
No, and Tom doesn't. The last couple of years, and the thing I always said about Tom in the last couple of years is that guy doesn't want to get hit. So you'd see him throw the ball away.
Do you blame him? He's been in the league forever.
No, I don't blame him. But I'm just saying, he doesn't want to get hit. And if a guy gets within 5 yards of him, he was like last year in New England, I found it was so weird. And like I said, I don't like the Patriots. I don't like Tom Brady. But I was like, this is so weird. They're getting within like a couple yards of him, and he's literally just falling backwards and chucking the ball out of bounds. Like as soon as
going down, turtling and going down
too. Yeah. As soon as anybody came within a couple yards of him, he was getting that ball out, and usually not to a receiver, and he was hitting the ground so nobody could hit him. And it's like I just found like Tom last year, and it's the reason why I didn't have a whole lot of. I wasn't high on them this year, is because I found Tom, the way that he played last year, looks so uninspiring. Like even for you guys against the Titans, like for him not to even chuck the ball up at the end of the game, like you had to. Like I understand you don't want to
wasn't there. Nobody was open, homie.
No, but he didn't even.
Nobody was open.
But he just didn't want to. He didn't want to take the. It doesn't matter if nobody's open. You're gonna lose the game one way or another. Throw the goddamn ball to somebody, but he didn't want to, right? Like it's just, to me it was so uninspiring to see the way that he
it happens, homie. 6 rings. I'm a happy man.
Yeah, well, no shit, you guys are happy, but that's my only thing with him and the way that he was. But obviously this year he stayed up. He's got Godwin. He's got Evans. He's got Antonio Brown, who should be back for the game. He's got Gronk. He's got Cameron Brate. He's got Scotty Miller. He's got Tyler Johnson, the rookie out of Minnesota.
2 good running backs, Fournette.
and
Jones.
Jones. So I said he's got
stacked.
He's got all the pieces he needs, right?
3 tight ends. Just unreal.
He's got everything he could need. I think they're gonna concentrate on the run game. I think they're gonna concentrate on keeping the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, which is what he should do.
Which will be the same things I think you'll honestly see the Chiefs try to do. I think you'll see the Chiefs actually try to run the ball and just control the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
Just same factors. Just limit Tom's touch as well.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be surprised, people. But, obviously, Kansas City and Andy Reid, he will take his shots. And I believe so. I honestly think Tampa Bay will too. But I think you'll see both teams try to do that. Run the ball, just kind of maintain the clock a little bit. Yeah. But I got T-Bay because he's got Casey. Let's go, Tommy.
And to be honest, I hate both teams because
Casey's in his division, people.
I hate Casey because they're in my division. So I'm like, I'm not a big fan of.
How do you feel about that, anyways?
It's terrible.
Patrick Mahomes.
It's literally
It's not like he's retiring next year either.
No, the super motherfuckers in my division for the next.
But I'm probably gonna find out the same thing because we got Buffalo might have found their next Hall of Fame quarterback.
By the way, I only have to play Patrick Mahomes for the next decade in my fucking division every game, and obviously I could be a lot worse off, right? Like I could be.
Yeah, but you guys got Herbert.
I got Herbert, and trust me, like we got enough guys on our end that I think we can be good for a long time. Not just because I think it's everything. I think it's Herbert. I think it's Keenan Allen. I think it's Joey Bosa. I think just the long line of what we've kind of built. Like if I was, like I and obviously I'm always going to be higher on them on the Chargers because I'm a Chargers fan. But like, obviously, I feel way better about the Chargers and where they're going to end up than whatever the hell the Broncos are planning on doing, or whatever the hell the Raiders are going to be doing.
Trading Derek Carr,
because you got Derek Carr and Drew Lock, and they're talking about cutting Von Miller over in Denver.
Yeah, I know that's crazy talk, man.
You know, like all this stuff, and that's. By the way, Trevor, that's the reason why I don't feel bad. And I understand we don't want the NFL to become like the NBA where the guys are just picking where they want to go and everything else and forcing trades. But don't get me wrong. The GMs and the owners already have that decision. They can sign a guy and cut him in 2 days and don't give two shits. Right?
Yeah, they got a lot of outs in NFL contracts.
Yeah, like it's the stupidest thing in the world, right? So, you know,
the NBA, they can't really cut a guy. Don't they have to buy him out? Yeah, they have to buy him out.
You have to buy him out, right? So, and then you have the salary. Like, just there's so much to it, right? But no, I think Casey. I just think they're so good, and like I said, it pains me to say that as a Chargers fan, but I think Patrick Mahomes is really good. So as long as he can stay upright, I think he's going to be missing. They've had injuries along the offensive line, so they just got to kind of, you know, stay the course. As long as they can kind of keep him up a little bit, I think between Travis Kelce, who's the best, if he's not the best tight end, he's the 1B to George Kittle. Obviously, you have the piece of shit that is Tyreek Hill. He's obviously pretty good. You have Nicole Hardman. They're saying Sammy Watkins won't play. People were trying to make that as a big deal. Sammy Watkins doesn't play half the games in the year.
He's not going to play? I thought he was going to play.
Maybe he is now, but I just heard something.
You could be right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I heard something the other day that he might not play. So, but I don't think that's a big deal because I don't think, like I said, he doesn't play half the games, right? So, you have Hardman, you have all these other guys out there that are, you know, playing receiver, Robinson, all these other guys. I think they just have too many weapons. And I think they're too good on offense and too explosive on offense. Now, if they allow Tampa Bay to hold and do what they did against the Packers on defense, then yeah, maybe they can slow them down a little bit. But there's just so much. Andy Reid is so smart on that end, and I think on the defense, I think they're good, right? Their corners have been better this year. Chris Jones is still the second best defensive tackle in all football behind Aaron Donald. And the gap is not that, like, obviously Aaron Donald's amazing and he's the best defensive tackle in the league. I don't think that the drop off from Aaron Donald to Chris Jones is that crazy. And then they just got other guys, right? They get Tyrann Mathieu out there. He's really brought those DBs along and tried to fix it. So I think overall, I think they win it as long as the special teams, if they can do it. I think that's the big thing, but I'm going with the Chiefs, and I think they could get up big. And I think if Brady has any issues, I think if it becomes a shootout with Brady having to throw a bunch, I don't think that works well in Tampa Bay's favor. And I understand that sounds stupid because it's Tom Brady and maybe he'll throw for 350 yards and whatever. But I think the times that Tom has looked the best this year is when the run game gets like 150 yards and the defense,
for sure. So
and the defense gets 2 turnovers or more, right?
For sure.
And I just don't see that happening. Like Patrick Mahomes has 2 turnovers in his playoff career,
and you might have just screwed him.
Yeah, I might just mushed him, but
you definitely just said the keys of the game for Tommy and the Bucs is exactly that. Don't turn the ball over. Another key for them on defense. They need hopefully Whitfield Jr. is going to play.
Yeah,
their young rookie safety.
Yep,
he's huge. Like they played good without him, but they're better with him. Period. Just slow Kansas City down enough. Make a play here and there. That's huge for them. But the big key is not to turn the ball over, and I think they have a chance to win and run the ball so you can, as Eric just alluded to, have play action and throw it down the field if you're Tom Brady, because he's been really successful with that this year. And be just and that also adds to controlling the clock. And not to mention that Tampa Bay, when they've run the ball, they've run well this year. So just stick within your means. You don't have to. If you play it right, you don't have to outshoot them. You just got to keep it close. If you keep it close, there's a good chance you win. So, that's all I'm going to go into. Eric mentioned the 2 best players on the defense in Kansas City. You got to keep Jones from getting pressure in the middle of the pocket on Tom Brady. It's where Tom Brady makes his living, where he's made his bones his whole career. They lost 2 Super Bowls. Why? Because they got pressure up the middle on Tom Brady. So if you can keep Tom upright, and you can keep the pressure coming from the outside, you got a good chance to win. So that's what I'm going to say. Like Jones and Matthews, like Eric said, or Tyrann Mathieu, are huge. They're the 2 best players on that defense. They got a rookie corner that I really like. He's aggressive. He plays like he's been in the league forever. So those 2 guys are big key on defense. So we'll see what happens. Mahomes just does his thing. So if you get pressure on him, he can bootleg it.
And he has his turf toe thing, right? I also
feel the same way about what Eric said about Tyreek Hill. With
that
all his yapping and shit, I just hate it. He's I don't know what the hell he thinks he is, but their best player, I honestly think, is Kelsey, besides Mahomes on offense. I think if they run the ball, if they're able to run the ball, that's not good for Tampa Bay. Eat the clock up.
Yeah, my big thing for Tyreek Hill is I just think he's a piece of shit.
Act like you've been there.
It's not even his on-field stuff. I think it's just a piece of shit.
I hate it. I can't stand it.
So
I think he's crazy talented, but
there's lots of guys that are crazy talented, right?
I don't think he'd be as good if he didn't have his speed. Period.
No, well, that's what makes him Tyreek Hill, right? And obviously he has good hands and he doesn't drop a whole lot of balls. I think he actually dropped a ball against Buffalo at the start of early in the game, right? So it's there's a lot to it when it comes to these guys. This could be like the passing of the guard, Trevor. That's at the end of the day.
But I think if Godwin or whatever has a big game for Tampa, they're in trouble.
Oh,
what I'm saying, if Tommy hits him downfield 40 yards or more, obviously we know Chris Evans, if they're like on the 5, if they dink and dunk and they're going to look for Chris Evans in the end zone. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on.
Mike Evans or Chris Godwin?
What did I say, Chris?
You said Chris Evans, so I don't know what you're talking.
I think if they're going to take, if they're I'm just saying, if they're on like the 5 or something like that, obviously he's going to go to his big body receiver and Evans. But I mean, like when Rip big play offer play action pass, he's going to Godwin.
So, no, I think there's enough.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying.
To be honest, I think Tampa Bay as a whole has a better team. If you just went player by player by player down that list, I think the more complete team is Tampa Bay. And I think if Tampa Bay wins, it's because I think it's their front. I think it's Shaq Barrett. I think it's Jason Pierre-Paul. I think it's all those guys too.
Pierre's been on. Paul has been on.
Vita Vea. I think it's all those guys. I think it's the defensive line. I think it's them making the difference in the game. I think it's them slowing down Patrick Mahomes or getting to him and everything else. I think that's where you could get into some issues, right? Rather than.
But this is why they play the game. Both explosive offenses. I love it.
Guess what? It's a team game, Trevor.
Exactly.
You can't win. There's a reason.
And you need to have a little bit of luck too.
Yeah.
So call go your way. Just
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl at one point, by the way, and so did Joe Flacco. So that doesn't tell you right there that it's not always on the quarterback and who's the best quarterback. That should be right there, right? It's a team game. I just like to stress that all the time. The quarterbacks can't kick the field goals. The quarterbacks aren't out making interceptions. I know the Pat McAfee show kind of had the joke about talking to Aaron Rodgers before the game against the Bucs, and Pat's like, it's you versus Brady, and he's like, I don't know if you realize this, but Brady's going to be playing safety because it's you versus Brady. And he goes, I don't think I've ever played a safety that old, but I don't know how well he's going to be able to move it. But it's just kind of the joke, right? Like, yes, it's
exactly.
The quarterbacks have to play, good, but it's a team game at the end of the day. So it is what it is. That's pretty much going to be it. Next episode, we're probably going to talk about
the result of the Super Bowl.
After I just smashed that. So you guys got to hear that. You're welcome.
Oops.
Look, we're falling off the rails here at the end of it. No, but you get a lot of stuff, right? We're going to have Carson Wentz talk about wherever he's going to end up, because apparently that's supposed to happen in the next couple of days.
They go from they're trading him to they're not trading him to they're trading him again.
So you're trading him. You can't not trade that guy. I'm going to get into that. I don't even care. Okay. I know we're at the end of the episode and everyone's like, oh, okay, they talked the Super Bowl. No, we're going to talk about Carson Wentz for 2 seconds. Carson Wentz was the franchise quarterback there. And Doug Peterson is a stooge. And Frank Reich was the main guy there that made that whole thing tick. And ever since he left, Philadelphia has never really quite been the same. He hasn't. They haven't been, right?
That and 2 injuries. Yeah. No, but I agree. Yep.
Yeah, and then you talk about Alshon Jeffrey being always out, and Deshaun Jackson, because they decided 38-year-old receivers were the good idea over there in Philadelphia for some reason, which I'll never understand. But you do all this stuff, and then you give him the contract. And it's the same thing as Goff. The Goff one was kind of weird, and Goff didn't get a crazy contract. He got it's $25 million. It's still a lot of money, right? But
still too rich for my taste. But whatever.
But that's just a quarterback, right? If you want a quarterback, that's what you're going to pay them, right?
Nowadays,
yeah. Unless you're Tom Brady and you're married to a lady that makes $100 million a year, and you can afford to take a $15 million contract. But throughout all of this, you decide you're going to go with Carson Wentz. He's your guy. And then you go this year and you spend a second-round pick on another quarterback? And it's like, so you want him as your quarterback or you don't want him as your quarterback a year after you gave him the contract? Because wouldn't you think that they'd be better off, getting that guy a receiver or an offensive lineman or something else at that point? Not a quarterback to compete for his job. And then you're like, oh, well, why is he so angry? Well, because you just drafted a second-round quarterback who people were super high on. And, yeah, he didn't play the best, right? But also, name me 2 receivers on the Eagles. Not named Deshaun Jackson, not named Alshon Jeffrey. You can't go
Ward. Is Ward still there?
Ward's there. Greg Ward, maybe? Yeah, Greg Ward.
Oh, yeah, Ward. There's one. Now, another one's going to be tricky. I'm trying to think of the rookie they just drafted. I can't remember his name. No, it starts with an R, but give me a minute here. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, man.
So those are his.
I couldn't even watch Philly this year.
That was his weapons this year, right?
And Hurts was hurt.
And it almost seemed, and obviously he got gun
but he's not a wide receiver.
Yeah, he also got gun shy, right? And he was running the line, and he wasn't playing the best. I understand, right? But
he's been hit so much.
But I also found
years.
as soon as they went to Jalen Hurts, I found the play calls changed too. And to be honest, Jalen Hurts' numbers, they weren't amazing. Like we talked about it on the podcast.
But he is fast as fuck, and he could avoid a lot of shit.
He can. But
not saying that Carson's
people
slow,
were talking about
like,
well, how dare they play Nate Sudfeld, which was also a stupid fucking idea at the end of the year. You're going to bench Carson, start Hurts, who's your new starting quarterback. This is who
in a game you could win.
Yeah, and you're going to – and don't get me wrong, we talked about it. Jalen Hurts, like, he did not play the best game. You know, he was not very good that game. So, like –
they were still in it, though.
You could – yeah. But that's your new starting quarterback after you just bench this guy. And now all of a sudden you bring in Nate Sudfeld. And you're like, hey, we're going to play Nate Sudfeld for the second half of this fucking game. It's such a shit show. And it's just as good as it just shows. And I know it doesn't seem like much because we're just two fucking idiots that are from the East Coast of Canada that love sports. But man, I really think I could run an NFL team, Trevor. Like, I just think that it's not that hard.
I don't know, man.
And I see that there's just so many stupid things that happen that it's like, how did that seem like a good idea? And then they're like, well, we fired Doug Peterson. Okay, well, but you still have the general manager that brought in the other quarterback. So obviously they don't want you there if that's what they decided. Like, it wasn't just Doug Peterson that made this decision. It was a combined effort that we're going to
I think Wentz would look good in the Colts uniform.
Yeah.
And so just a change of scenery with the coach that, one of the offensive coaches that made him a juggernaut.
Yeah.
I love Wentz, so I want to see him
and that's
come around
the thing,
again.
Right? And there's a lot of talk about all this stuff, right? And obviously the Colts have to figure something out, whether it's Jacob Eason, maybe they go with him, but is that who they go with?
I think he's a couple years away.
Yeah.
Eason, or a year away. Or
when you're talking about, there's drafting a quarterback because early on.
They're just missing the quarterback. They're another team that's close.
Well, it's in drafting a quarterback early on when you have a starting quarterback is always a weird situation, right? Obviously, it happened in with the Packers this year. Now, once again, just gonna put this out there, the Packers once again made it to the conference finals for the NFL, for the NFC. Okay, you don't think that a decent first round pick this year would have helped them a little bit? Like, you're that close, like a really good first round pick, like a Justin Jefferson.
We don't draft. We don't believe in drafting receivers in the first round,
or we don't
because we can find them in other rounds.
Yeah, and there's just so much, or an offensive lineman to give you some more depth, which became an issue against Tampa Bay because they had lost a couple guys to injuries, and obviously, I understand why they did it. Right, they're thinking, how many years does Aaron Rodgers have left? Right, He didn't look like an MVP last year.
Some people credit him having an MVP season because they lit a fire under his ass because they brought in Love.
Yeah.
But
and so
I don't know.
So you have that. And then, I know like the Big Ben one. Big Ben was all pissed off when they drafted Mason Rudolph in the second round a couple years ago. Big Ben, you've been talking about retiring for the last 4 years.
That's ironic. Yeah.
Like, how you can't just have this retirement thing over top of your head though, and be like, well, I don't know about the game anymore. I don't know if I can do it anymore. Literally for like 4 seasons, and be like, you drafted another quarterback, and it's like, yeah, no shit, you've been fucking talking about retirement this whole time. There was a thing that came in on, which I'm kind of getting out on Brett Favre a little bit because he was going on about how he kind of groomed Rodgers for this because this was the same kind of scenario between him and Rodgers, but that's the same as Big Ben. Brett Favre talked about retiring for how many years? Like, that was the reason why they drafted Aaron Rodgers, is because he started talking about retiring, and then eventually he got pushed out. Well, yeah, because you also were talking about retiring every year. So if you're going to talk about retiring every year, eventually they're going to be like, hey, Aaron, or hey, Brett, we're just going to let you go now. We're just going to push you off to the side, and we're just going to let you go do your own thing, and thank you for your service. It was nice to see you come out for all those years. We appreciate the Super Bowl. But it's time for us to move on to this other guy that wants to play and doesn't want to say that he's going to retire every year. And his contract's coming up and everything else, right? So it goes both ways. It's one of those things.
For sure.
There's a lot of, like I said, there's still other quarterbacks that are moving around. There's Deshaun. There's Carson. depends on where they go. That totally changes up the draft, which we're going to get into in the next couple weeks, right? It's the draft scenario of if Deshaun goes to a Miami, or they go to a Carolina, or he goes to a San Francisco, like that changes everything. Like, and the way
if he stays in Houston, who knows?
And the way the whole draft goes, right? Like no matter where any of these guys go, right? There's so many options for all these guys and where they could go. Sam Darnold, does Sam Darnold go to? Do they trade him to somewheres tomorrow, right? Like, I don't think they trade him until they get rid of Deshaun, until they get like a Deshaun or somebody, right? But do they trade a Sam Darnold away, right? So there's a lot of things. It's probably one of the more. I think we're going to see more new quarterbacks and more new places than we've seen in a while.
Musical chairs.
Which isn't a bad thing, but...
It's going to be a really crazy offseason if you think about it.
You're talking...
We got a flat cap.
Rivers is gone. Big Ben should be gone because he's a bum now. Drew Brees is gone. Those are three staples of the NFL for how many years, right? And they're all gone now.
Big Ben's the only one from that quarterback class. His quarterback class still playing.
Yeah,
and I think it's a mistake to come back next year. But he says he's going to. That means they're going to have to restructure because they got 2 linebackers that need money, and they're going to lose them both. I think.
And they're losing.
Dupuis,
and they're going to lose Juju, and then they're going to lose.
Exactly, him and Juju are like. Well, Juju's a wide receiver, but Dupuis huge. Like, he's been really good the last 2 years.
Yeah.
For an edge rusher, he's turned out to be what they wanted. Earlier in his career, took him a little longer to get there, but now he's a stud.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it.
That's it.
I think it's good. That's a long episode.
We'll get back into the Carson Wentz talk too.
Yeah, well, I said
for sure. On another
episode. By the time we get back into this, we might have an answer with that. We'll have a Super Bowl winner. We'll have more stuff, I'm sure, on the COVID front with the hockey and just the way that the whole season's been going. And like I said, there's the nice thing about football and all these other sports nowadays. Is they're a 12-month-a-year sport, right? As soon as that Super Bowl, as soon as whoever hoists that Lombardi trophy over their head, the nice thing is we immediately go into like free agency talk, and we immediately go into like draft talk. So that's the nice thing about the NFL and the way that they work. So we're gonna call it there. So for Eric and for Trevor, this is signing off.
Keep your stick on the ice, people.
Bye, guys.